Now, I tried to trade with a full-time job. So in this presentation, I'm going to break down exactly what actually works, how to actually start getting results if you want to start to be a bit more, not a trader, but more maybe of an active investor. So look, this is my own research. This is my personal journey. This is what worked for me. It may not work for you. I also have a free newsletter, so if you want to get an insight into what I'm looking at on a weekly basis, sign up below. The link to that will be in the description. So what I tried, I remember going to the toilet to trade stocks on the 4-hour chart. By the way, these were crypto perpetual futures because I was in the UK. So when they released that, I was like, great, I'm going to start, looking at stocks. So I was going long, short, doing all these things, and I just got so overwhelmed. And again, I was watching 100 crypto coins at one point. So overwhelmed, it was really stressful. And the problem was never the assets, it was the approach. When you're constantly changing your watch list, when you're constantly flip-flopping, because you talk about flip-flopping process in terms of an entry criteria and exit and all that stuff, but you need to do the same for watch lists. So for me, narrowing down certain things and really kind of getting a grip of what I want to watch regularly was really important. So more time frames, more screen time, yes, it wasn't really the case. It was, okay, cool, what can I watch on a regular basis that can fit around my life? And that just led to so many better decisions in what I was doing. So look, you've got to design a process that fits around your life, not the other way around. So I would recommend reviewing your week, right? So start with the constraints on your ambitions. Like, how much time do you actually have? Be honest, design it around that. Like, if you have 8 hours free a day, great, you're a lot more flexible. If you've got 1 hour free a day, not so flexible. So just look at a typical week and build from there. And then you can start to think, okay, cool, this is the time, on most days, on Monday to Friday, I can be at the charts and so on. Define a small number of things to look at and then go from there. And then write down your entry criteria, build that process. But these things go hand in hand, right? So you want to be reviewing your week, auditing your life, and then building out a process from there and defining things and keeping it small. And you just want it to fit around your life. That's what you're trying to achieve. You don't want it to be a burden. It needs to fit around your life. So look, fewer assets work. Depth beats breadth every time, especially when it comes to, being a bit more active. So you learn the behavior of the assets. You learn how things work, things not work, and so on and so forth. I would recommend, if you are picking stuff, pick stuff which you think are going to be around in 50 years' time. So if there's this really hot stock or this really hot thing, this really hot narrative, is it going to be around for the long term? Is it just came up? Because then maybe watch it, keep it in the background, check it every now and then. But you want to be watching stuff which is going to be regular. So maybe global indices or, gold or whatever, these things that you think are going to be around for a while, definitely do that. So your signals will start to become more reliable. Your signals will mean something. You'll actually be able to collect better data because you're watching the same things, and you won't be just, oh my God, I've got 5 entry signals on 5 different things. Which one do I take? Because I know I shouldn't be overly exposed, right? So because you're looking to manage risk, and that one thing that I definitely found was I can't manage risk as well if I'm watching loads of things. So I will watch, other things outside of what I typically watch, but I'll rarely act on them. There'll be very rare setups which I can, use on a weekly basis and I can have running on the background, which work very well. And doing nothing's part of the process. Most of the time, nothing happens. There's that meme of a Chudjak. I don't know if you've seen that, but nothing ever happens, and it's people feel like they have to make decisions, but sometimes that's really where the money is made. So what it looks like now, it's simple, repeatable, and it's built around my life and not the market. I know what I'm watching. I have a process. The news, social media posts, they don't come into what I do. I know what I'm watching. I know what I'm doing. If there is something that I think, oh, this could be interesting, and that's outside of my main watch list, I do have that more rare watch list, which I'll add it to, and then I can monitor it on like a weekly basis, right? And then I write down every decision, what's happening, what sort, what's what I saw, and then I can review it. And those decisions can be improved over time. So yeah, pick some stuff that fit around your life that you can watch regularly, that you think are going to be around for a while. Pick them, and then if there are stuff you are interested in that you do want to monitor, just add them to maybe like a weekly thing. Let's say, for example, for me, it's the daily, check them daily, weekly, and that's how I manage it, and it works really well. Especially it fits around my life, and it's not like a burden. So the verdict: the market does not care about how busy you are. Design your process around your life and stick to it. Stop trying to watch everything. Pick a few things, understand them, and go from there. Find a time frame that fits your schedule. Define your criteria in advance, and then most weeks you do nothing. You just process over and over and over again. if you have a split in the gym, you have to follow it for a long time. You can't just change your split every week or you're never going to get anywhere, right? Remember, I talk about this a lot in my newsletter, so sign up for that below in the description. And obviously all the sources here, my own experience, and I'll see you in the next one.